Smoke rises around the altar Tuesday inside Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Philippe Wojazer /Pool/Reuters April 16 at 6:13 p.m. Less than 24 hours after a blaze tore through Notre Dame Cathedral, donors have raised hundreds of millions to aid in restoration efforts. The donations come in as Paris officials are working to quantify the costs of the damage after the devastating fire Monday that incinerated portions of the cathedral. President Emmanuel Macron said Tuesday he hoped the symbolic landmark could be reconstructed within 5 years. International grassroots fundraisers immediately sprang up online to aid in the rebuilding effort, supplemented by private pledges topping $700 million. Some of the families behind him, most notable companies in France, have offered hundreds of millions of dollars in donations toward the rebuilding effort. Among them is the family of Bernard Arnault, chief executive of the LVMH luxury conglomerate and the richest man in Europe, who pledged $226 million. Before that, François-Henri Pinault, chairman of the French luxury group Kering, offered $133 million in aid. The Bettencourt-Meyers family, which owns cosmetics company L'Oréal, said Tuesday that it would match its company's pledge of $113 million, totaling $226 million. In a tweet, L'Oréal called the rebuilding effort a renaissance of a precious symbol of the French heritage and common history. Tim Cook, chief executive of Apple, wrote Tuesday morning on Twitter that he was heartbroken for the French people and promised that his company would also help in the rebuilding efforts. His tweet did not specify an amount, and Apple did not immediately return a request for comment from The Washington Post. "We are heartbroken for the French people and those around the world for whom Notre Dame is a symbol of hope, relieved that everyone is safe. Apple will be donating to the rebuilding efforts to help restore Notre Dame's precious heritage for future generations." France, Tim Cook, at Tim_Cook, April 16, 2019. Why cathedrals are vulnerable to burning quickly and take a long time to rebuild. Donations have also come from groups such as Total, the multinational oil and gas giant, which wrote in a tweet it would also give $113 million to help with reconstruction of the cathedral, which Total called an architectural jewel. The University of Notre Dame in Indiana pledged to donate $100,000 toward the renovations, writing in a statement that the cathedral's exquisite Gothic architecture has for centuries raised hearts and minds to God. These larger donations have been supplemented by smaller fundraising efforts. Among the givers is Charles Goss, a 23-year-old business student who launched an online funding campaign that had raised over $43,000 by Tuesday afternoon. "I am not religious myself. I'm an atheist," he told The Washington Post, "but this is beyond religion. It is a national monument like the Eiffel Tower." According to Reuters, an estimate on the cost of the cathedral's restoration could take up to a year. "It is really going to be up to the French state and benefactors to help to restore and rebuild this," Robert Reed, head of art and private clients at Lloyd's of London insurer Hiscox, told Reuters. "The restoration itself could take up to 20 years, he added. Here are some of the most notable pledges made so far. According to Reuters, LVMH pledged €200 million, $233 million, Kering pledged €100 million, $133 million, L'Oréal and the Bettencourt-Meyers family together pledged €200 million, $226 million, Total pledged €200 million, $233 million, BNP, a French banking group, pledged €20 million, $22.5 million, JCDecaux, an advertising firm, pledged €20 million, $22.5 million, AXA, an insurance firm, pledged €10 million, $11 million, Marc Ladriat de la Courrière, head of the group that runs ratings agency Fitch, pledged €10 million, $11 million. Brothers Martin and Olivier Wojazer, who oversee a telecommunications company, pledged €10 million, $11 million. Société Générale, a French investment bank, pledged €10 million, $11 million. The European Central Bank pledged €9 million, $10 million. Quentin Aries in Paris contributed to this report. Read more. With Notre Dame fire doused, officials assess what was lost as flames raged. A fire chaplain helped save the treasures inside the cathedral. She snapped a joyful photo of a man and child just before the fire started.